Cloud. Recording in progress. Okay, so like the first thing we should do is just check to make sure the lab's working right, because that's not always a given. Right now it's not. It's in mode 2, it looks like, for streaming data lab 2. So let's go change that. Yeah, back to the 1. And then we save, and then we run it again. So there you go. It's actually an example of like, hey, sometimes, check your lab first, make sure it's right. Okay, cool. So we have our reroll, we have our save, and we have our load. And they seem to be running default bullshit, right? Okay, cool. Let's go look at our code. So we got our, yeah, actually, I'm not going to go over the assignment because, a bunch of you have already produced solutions. Yeah, so I'll just assume you already know what's going on here. And that's assignment part 2 up here. This is where we're coding. So our save button and our refresh, our load. So normally I would pose the problem and I'd be like, how do we break this problem down? But a lot of you have already done this, so I'm just gonna speed it. Right, but like the first thing we have to do is break the problem down. And you know, what are some of the things we need to do? Well, we need to get our stream reader writer working. Oh my God, I'm using a temporary keyboard. And it's just harder to write on. I missed my good mechanical one, which I'll have in a couple days. So stream reader and writer, we got to get those working. That's probably the first thing. We got to get data saved. That's the thing. We got to read data, right? Before we can do that. I mean, a lot of our conversation was on decide the format for our data, right? So, I mean, that's some things. But anyways, breaking the problem down is always the first thing. And the first thing we need to do isn't anything with this. We just need to get stream data, stream reader working. And oh no, it's not there. Oh no, it is. We'll call it SR new equals new stream reader, right? And just to be clear, these docs have stuff on it, really good shit. Actually, you know what? Just to be consistent, I should do this. I should do this. We should go here and we should look at the code that they have and be like, oh yeah, so right? So I mean, because you had to do this originally, right? And I know that we're not there right now, but you see stuff like this, right? So we take that and we just write it here. We just put it there. Yeah, this is pretty good. I don't actually like, so how many of you know how to use the using statement like this? Like, what the hell is this using statement doing? You know what a using statement up here is doing. It's including a library, right? But like, what the hell is this using statement doing? Huh? It's trash. You shouldn't use it. You should not use the using statement like this unless it's something you do regularly and you are concerned about not including files up at the top. This is not something you need to do.
Doesn't using the using
Yep,
statement automatically close the stream reader after you exit?
yeah, that is one of the things that it will do for us implicitly. And I would argue that's one of the reasons why we shouldn't use the using statement.
Yeah, that's why I
I was
use
gonna
it
say, yeah.
because it automatically.
Oh, that's awesome. So you use the using statement as a way to close the stream when we're done, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, check this out. Right? Like
That too, but like
I like that. I like that. I
Okay,
like that
yeah.
because that's
Fair enough.
explicit. That's like, oh, and now the stream is being closed. Right? And for learning, I think that that's a superior thing because you got
Yeah,
your
you
nice
learn it
clear.
better,
Yeah, because it's not hidden, right? With the using statement, you hide that complexity. So I'm actually not a huge fan of that documentation we just read. But anyways, we do have some useful code here. Maybe let's just comment this out, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
I won't
Yeah.
lie. I kind of like this is something that I am like vehemently opposed to in
Mm,
all coding. I think it is a fucking scourge on this earth is side
mm.
effects of coding. I think every line of code should be as explicit as it's humanly possible and
Yeah,
as
I agree.
bare
Totally.
as humanly possible as like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing is happening here, this thing is happening here.
yeah,
Because I've tried to
yeah.
write those sorts of things where I'm like, oh, I'll make it super simple and it'll do all this for you. And no one uses those features ever.
Yeah, 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 because they're tricky to use. And
Exactly. Yeah.
when you hit a bug, it's like, why did that happen?
Mhm. And
Right?
it could be any
Yeah,
number of
yeah,
things of like, is it my code? Is it because somebody else is using my code in a very strange way? Are they
all right.
doing something that
Yeah,
I tried to automate for them?
yeah.
Yeah,
No, 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 I
nightmare.
know, right? I know. Uh um Interestingly enough, um NASA, right? So like when you're making stuff for like spaceships and shit, uh that's a philosophy of coding that they get very, very, very like, we'll say vehement, I think is the word he used, right? But like,
Mhm.
because like, look, I mean, we're game programmers, we write a bug, it's not that big of a deal. You know, if you're making rockets that are shooting people up to the International Space Station, or if you're
If you got a
making
code that's going to
medical
be on
technology,
Mars
right?
or whatever, that thing has to work.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah,
live debug when your system is on
yeah.
another fucking planet.
No, I think so. No complexity hiding, right? I think that's maybe a way to say it.
Mhm.
The clean code principle that we just discussed. Is there another way to write that down? Because I would like to iterate on this list. I feel like this list is a little weak.
Uh,
And we're adding to it as we go, so that's fine. So no complexity hiding.
I think
Um,
there's like a paradigm for this. I can't remember what the name of it is.
yeah,
Not it's not functional,
lots of
not
work.
object oriented. I can't remember what the middle one is. Where it's like
Mm. I think complexity hiding is a common phrase to describe like not wanting to use a using statement. I mean, I'm shocked Microsoft used that as their like tutorial text, right?
mhm,
Because it's like they just hid from us the complexity that says, oh no, your stream is being closed at the end of the using bracket,
mhm. I think
right?
this
And
also adds overhead too. Like
probably, probably, like
and
when's the
it makes
garbage
it
collection
ambiguous.
happening? Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the point
Like
is we don't know. We don't know, right?
mhm.
Uh
Does that like
yeah.
yeah, and it's all kinds of weird like just in time compiler
Mhm,
related nonsense of like
mhm.
when I use using, like in my head, using is equivalent to an include, and an include is a
Yeah,
literal
no, I
comment
know. No, it's
of like,
ambiguous, right? It's
but now
ambiguous. It's
it's
like,
yeah.
but in this context, the using statement isn't that. It's sort of
Mhm.
different. And yeah, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. So I don't recommend that actually. Um, so anyways, we got our oh, this is our stream reader. I'm gonna go get we need a writer, right? The stream reader is for the load and right, obviously. So let's go get our stream writer.
This is something
Yeah.
else that I'm curious about, like how
Hmm.
you feel on it.
Hmm.
I despise also like single or double letter variable names, even like for the thing where it would be stream reader and then the name of the thing would be stream
Yeah.
reader. I can kind of understand why you would do SR because
No,
that does clean
I
it.
totally agree. This is no, 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 no. A two-letter variable name is for your iterator.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
iterators are 1 to 3 letters, and they should be consistent to that. And that's like written into the Go clean code standard best practices manual,
Mhm.
right? No, and like that's how you signify an iterator. It's also how you can signify. You can sing. We'll get into this. We'll come back to the question. So I'll go write that down under our thing here. So we go like slash slash slash. At the very bottom, we will go iterate on variable names. And let's just come back to it. Let's just come back to it. We're shelving that conversation for now. Okay. So this doesn't belong here. This actually belongs over here. And what we need up here is our writer. So let's go look for our string writer. Right. And again, we
Should
have this
we
shit going on. Is
put our
that
using like our include all the way up at the top? Ew. Sorry, that is
no,
disgusting. There's two
no,
usings in there.
no, dude, I know, right?
Ugh.
Like really, Microsoft, I'm shocked
Fuck,
that
man.
they did that, you know. Anyways,
Biggest corporations always do the worst shit.
we do actually have this up here.
Oh, okay.
System.io is up here. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah.
what's
There's
why are
just
we why
there
using that? What?
no,
Why?
no, it's no, it's
Oh.
Yeah. No, I know, right? Like it's anyways. So we're gonna get rid of our did I just copy the same I copied the same code, the same reader? Oh, the writer code is right up here. Sorry. Sorry.
Mm.
Okay. Sorry.
I see
Uh
it's a single letter difference, and it's almost
no,
the
I
same
know.
exact code.
That's
We've
literally
already uncovered the
yeah, yeah.
problem. We've already uncovered the
Well,
problem.
yeah, we've already covered the problem with single like really bad variable naming, right? So we will iterate on that variable, but we have a stream writer and we will have a directory to save to. We'll say like hero save data, maybe hero save data. Okay. And we're just gonna go stream write. No, no. sr.writeLine or sw.writeLine rather.
Or we
Why do we
do
that's not needed.
oh, there's some other fuck ass directory nonsense.
Yeah, no, we don't.
We
That's
need
bullshit.
a
We're just doing a sanity test.
should
Okay,
we
so when I hit
specify a
save party
path?
button, we should save to
Well, hold on though.
where are we saving to? Oh, I don't know. Right.
I didn't even try it without giving it a path.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I'm doing
Like
sanity bit. So like, yeah, no, like
so
where
like
do we save
I run
to?
on Linux, right? And it will just let you. And I know Unity has not
Yeah.
checked their shit for safety. Like
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you it will just like try to put that in the root and crash horribly because it doesn't have sudo permission.
It's right here. It's right here. It
Oh,
gives us a
okay.
decent default, but like, yeah. So, oh, but there's nothing there. Why isn't there anything there? Why isn't but this here?
We never closed it.
We never closed it. Right? Oh, oh, oh. Okay, there. All right.
Oh
I need
man,
a
that sucks. In my
I
head,
need a
because I'm
mechanical
thinking
thing.
about like how horrible that would be on a process level of like, oh no, this is just a hanging open file.
Yeah. Okay. No, I know, right? And just to be clear, if we
That's
don't
like
close it and we try
oh, it does give
to
you a very explicit error if you do. At
if
least it
we
did
do
that.
this, what we're about to do, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it will. But you know, let's just we are doing an educational exercise. So if you open a stream, what's the do we get in there? Oh, it's probably because we didn't use it.
Oh,
Uh,
I guess so. Oh yeah, yeah, right.
read line, do we have to?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I actually thought that would have crashed or if I was there, just opening it, but maybe not.
Well, I think this is another thing where it doesn't
Oh,
explicitly. This is
oh
also
my
bad
God.
fucking
This
design.
is
God damn it,
this is
Microsoft.
yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
damn it.
Let us know that this is bad.
I love it.
Very
I love it when opening a file doesn't open the file. Thank you, Microsoft. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. And
Ah,
saves you. Yeah, I mean, what are they doing? Maybe some catching shit.
fuck. God,
Anyways,
that's so dumb. I
you
hate that.
never open a multiple file like never yeah like you never open the file for reading and writing at the same time, one at a time. Okay, but anyways, we have this working. We have this working. We are saving data, and up here, well, no, did I just
Oh yeah, it
what
doesn't exist in that scope, does it?
oh I haven't this thing over here. We are reading the data, or we'll get it so that we are. Okay, so that's just the first thing. We just need to make our framework tools work. That's sr dot read line. And then we'll just go debug dot. No,
Capital D debug, of course.
yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
like the idea of like so in my code structure, if it's an object or object-like thing like a struct or whatever else,
Mhm.
the first letter is capital always. And that's
Mhm.
how I differentiate between like my functions and my objects and like things that are just meant to be properties, like a list of
Yeah,
properties for like simplicity's sake, whatever the hell.
yeah.
If
Let's
it's
go write this
explicitly
down.
an
So
object, always capitalize the first letter. or like have it be, I don't know what that case is where it's like
Yeah,
capital,
well,
no spaces.
Pascal and Camel case are the two
Yeah.
that you're talking about. Pascal is the one where your first letter is lower, and Camel's
Mhm.
bigger. So like,
Oh
we'll
yeah,
say
camel case.
Camel slash Pascal. Is it Pascal like that? Pascal? Or is it an
Something like that.
EL? It might be an EL. Pascal. No, Pascal. Slash Pascal case.
Yeah, all of my functions are Pascal
Use
case, and my like
slash
things
Pascal
are
case. Meaningfully and consistently. And we will come back to all of these, and we'll add more notes on how to get our shit really clean. Okay. I
this is
think
also
this is
partially why I don't like. I'm
it's
sorry.
safe.
I promise I'll stop after this. But
Yeah,
like
no,
why I
please.
don't like the object-oriented paradigm of everything is the thing. Because like, why does my object that is just declared as debug, like as a static thing that just exists as an object, but isn't really an object, just a collection of functions. So it doesn't really need to be an object. Why the hell is my debug not just a function? You know, that's just a paradigm thing of like, I would
Yeah,
not architect a language in such a
I
way that it's
you know,
masked
well,
like
like
that.
member variables are nice. Member variables are nice for keeping code clean, I think.
Hmm.
But like you know, the architects of Go would agree with you. And in some cases, yeah, no, you're totally onto
Hmm.
something. But anyways, let's get back to this.
Right.
Okay, so what's my next step? So I got my stream reader, my stream writer and reader working. What's my next step? I think we said just decide on a format for our data. Um, and this we did have conversation on. You know, we talked about and you know what, maybe the first thing we should do, maybe the first thing we should do is just the obvious bit. Let's just save our stats and let's just accomplish that. And I think we said we like the idea of each stat. And I'm going to iterate on this. So this is not final, but we'll go like class ID plus comma
Oh,
plus
have you done the
piece
I don't know what it's
dot.
called, but like the function or formatted strings or whatever?
Yeah, no, don't worry. We'll come back to we'll discuss that. We'll discuss how to clean this a little bit up. This is just going to be the simplest thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
I
I think that, you know, like there's something there, but we'll come back to it. And when we discuss it, it'll be its own conversation. So
okay.
PC dot, because we're gonna iterate on this line. I promise you that. We're gonna iterate on every line we write here, actually. It's final solution is gonna be like, what? It's gonna read like butter.
Absolutely. Those like formatted strings, it's a I think it's a Python feature that like that's where I remember it like first being used, but it's a very
Oh yeah,
nice
I mean,
tool.
yeah, yeah. Is there an order we should do this in? I think there's like an order that's displayed on screen. We should probably be
I
consistent to that.
I did it as order of how the like party character definition is, where it's like ID, health, mana,
That's
strength,
good.
agility,
That's the thing
wisdom.
to, yeah, okay. Strength, agility, wisdom. Okay. Yeah, no, like that's just a small detail, but like be consistent to ordering. Let's write that down.
Hmm.
Be consistent to in ordering variables slash params. Uh, okay. All right, cool. So strength, agility, and then wisdom. Is that the right order?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. PC dot wisdom.
Oh,
Oh
can
no,
I add
apparently. I have no idea how to write it. Yeah, what's up?
add one other thing that I kind of irks me a little, that I think is, I don't know, it could
Hey,
be a good
test time.
discussion point. Um, but
Hmm?
something that I really am not a fan of
Hmm?
is um inconsistencies in like, should an object be mutated externally or should it be handled internally?
Okay,
Um,
yeah, that
so we
I
kind of
don't
do
that
that with the equipment list, where you know, there's a nice neat solution for all the statistics, and then it's
Mhm.
like some gross nasty pc.equipment.add last or whatever else where we just directly access the property.
Yeah.
I think that's something we should decide on of like, are we going to make
It-
our objects super loose or are we going to have it be tightly object oriented?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think this lab might not be the best place for that conversation.
Mhm.
I think we need a bigger art system to have that conversation, but that is a conversation to be had for sure. Okay. I'm gonna hit save. And I don't remember if you remember before, but I had one fighter. I think it was a wizard and then another fighter. And now when I open up the file, we have not saved. So I hit save, and then I'm gonna go here. And there it is. Okay. Boom.
Oh, it might be because the text editor was holding that
What was holding? Yeah,
file
yeah,
open and
yeah.
it failed
Catch,
to
yeah,
write.
yeah. Anyways,
I know Windows
this
doesn't
is working.
protect you like that.
Okay, we just sanity tested. You know, these little protections, eh? We just sanity tested that this is working, right? So let's get it reading now. Right? So we go over here and we are gonna take we'll say this so SR. So one of the things we should actually do is so I think here they give us the example of like SR.readLine and
Dude, that's
checking to see
gross.
if it's null. But
No,
this is
that
actually
sucks.
a gross line. This is
That
gross.
sucks. That's so bad. There's already a thing for this. You can check SR dot end of file.
Has yeah, no, that's right. And the more meta play is to read. So get the stream reader writer working, but then read the documentation a little. Documentation, right? So just to be clear here, this is a horrible line of code. Why is this a horrible line of code?
It's unclear. It's doing multiple things in the same. It's doing three different things.
Yeah.
Oh, it is literally three
is it
different
three?
things.
No, it's a four. It's a four. Is it 3 or 4? Let's count.
It
Okay,
might be
okay, okay,
4.
okay.
Well,
One, 2 assignment. So
Mhm.
so one function call, read line function call, 2 assignment,
Mhm.
3rd null check, which is
And then I guess
which no, and I mean which is the null checks for the loop.
right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's 3 or 3.5, right? Or 4. I mean, maybe whatever.
And that's not
But-
even counting all the extra shit that's hidden inside of read line.
Yeah, no, this is
what
a
happens
this
if
is a
any
shit
part
show.
of this breaks. Every
This is
single
a shit
one.
show.
Like if line fails to
exactly. Like
assign,
if-
you get error on 1, 2, 3. If the null check fails for some reason, then you get an error on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
If something internally fails in read line, you get an error on line 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Completely unfucking usable.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, I mean, it works, so it is by definition usable, but I agree with your sentiment that it is not something you want to have in your code. So if we look at all the properties and methods we have, we got close, we got dispose, we got flush, we got all of these nice little variables, but write, all of our writes, right, which we need. This is the stream writer class. But if we look, where's what? Oh, extension methods. 1 second here. Sorry, I gotta go look for this. Yeah. Stream writer. Maybe it's the parent class that it inherits from. But 1 second here. What is that? Where is it? I know there's as data. I mean, 1 second here. Stream. Oh, stream. So both of the stream is the parent class to both stream writer and reader. And if we look at the functions it has, can read, can seek, timeout, can write, length, position, timeout, write, timeout, close.
This documentation sucks.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Why
we just go to IntelliSense and use IntelliSense.
Did you see that shit? It's just there's one
Yeah, I
function
don't-
where it just says
I don't
obsolete
know.
period, and that's it.
Wait, where? Up
Scroll
at the
down.
top?
No, it's
scroll down.
oh, there's multiple.
Or it just says obsolete?
Obsolete allocates a wait handle object. Like, what is a
Oh,
wait
oh,
handle
okay.
object? What does that even mean? There's three
Yeah,
of
yeah,
them.
yeah.
I just saw more when you
Yeah,
scroll
okay,
through.
obsolete, obsolete. Okay, wait, let's scan down, look for obsolete. Yeah, okay, so anyways, this whole lesson that I was just trying to deliver apparently completely just failed. Um, but I mean, there is the good old, let's just look at what we have, right? We got access to a peak function, read, end of stream, returns a bool. Oh, that's nice. Isn't there
Oh
like
fuck.
has data?
I do
Forgot.
forget. I forget that like EOF isn't like a common thing.
No, I mean end of stream, end of file, end of stream, whatever.
Yeah, if you know what it is, then it's like, oh, that makes sense. But if you've never
Yeah,
worked with like a file descriptor before,
yeah.
like what
Let's
the
let's go
hell?
find it. Let's go find it here. There should be
It's like
um
Control F EO like end of stream.
yeah, yeah. End of end of stream exception. No, that's not what we want.
You know what? It might not be listed because this is. Oh, it would probably be
Re
fields or properties, I think.
yeah, no. End of end of stream.
Ah,
Get a value that indicates whether the current stream position is at the end of the stream. Okay. And it returns a bool. So let's go sr dot end of stream, right? So we want to loop. We go well, not end of stream. Read line. And let's have our line declared up here. Maybe we'll say line. We'll just call it like, but red line maybe could be better. I don't know. We can come back to that. We already said we're going to come back to variable naming. But yeah,
this is
let's just
fine for debug too. Where like,
yeah,
I think line works fine in this case because it is like it's
it's the line we
amorphous
read.
data. Yeah, like there's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
like if you do
totally.
what I did where you have like two different lines for different things, then you could be more specific where it's like statistics line or equipment line or whatever. But yeah.
So we save, and then we load, and it looks like yeah.
Hey,
Look, we got our debug lines. Those look good. Cool. Okay, so we got our line, and we're closing our stream. And before we do all this, we should clear our game content, the party characters that are on screen. And we're gonna have to put this somewhere in here. I gotta make that work. That's probably our next thing. And when we're done, we need to refresh the UI. Cool. And let's get rid of all this ugly code. Cool. So we now have our stream reader and writer working, and the whole read the documentation, I guess that didn't work, or explore. However you do, right? Because you gotta find what you have access to, right? But look, this line, oh shit, this line is like this is something you can read, right? This is something you can read, whereas this sample code was
what
right,
does it
like
mean that the stream reader
this.
is equal to null? What does it mean that an assignment is equal to null?
I know. I mean, I can answer the question, which is, the stream read line returns null if it's at the end of the file. But that's me inferring knowledge that I, have, right?
Yeah, you have to
And
know intricacies of C# and how it does things in what order
yeah.
to know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit, I missed some comments. People are talking in here. Did I miss anything in chat? Okay, maybe. Just
I don't
hop on the
so.
voice chat. I'm yeah, no, like I said, I miss this stuff. Like I try to take a look at it, but I just get rambly and focused on my code. And
I
okay,
think the last thing that was said was me like sending the like formatted string when we were talking about that.
okay. Maybe keep an eye on my chat for me, and if I miss something, let me know.
Sure.
Because I appreciate. I feel a little like it's like a teaching thing that I should be better at. But okay,
Fine. This is
very
not
clear.
an ideal environment. We're making the best of what we got.
Yeah. So this is very clear, right? This I think is very, very clear. What do we want to do to our line? right? So if here we concatenate it, concatenation is what this is called, by the way, the technique. We join values with a separator character. Then over here, we want to split that, right? We want to go line dot split, and we want to say split based on a character, a comma.
I think is
Okay.
a single quote for characters.
It can be, yeah. You can do that. All right. Yeah, either will work.
Hmm.
It is better form to use use that. We're going to iterate in a bit, but here we go. So and what does that return to for us? It returns a string array. So we'll go string array, and we'll say what? Separated characters. Why is that a bad name? Why is separated characters a bad name? What's going to happen?
We could infer that the characters are being separated by the fact that it's line dot
Right,
split.
look at this shit. Look at this shit. Like,
This
look at
is
this shit.
not-
So you want to read this? Does anybody want to read this shit?
Nah.
I mean, actually, it might not be horrible, but yeah.
I-
We're gonna use outside knowledge. Comma separated values, CSV. Comma separated values. That's a thing to remember. CSV. If you Google it, people will know it. You know. So go
I think-
CSV, and oh, what the hell? Oh, what's this error? What's this error I'm getting? Can't convert from string to int. Okay. So I got to go int dot parse CSV. Oh, no, not oh, sorry. And put that in here. And oh,
In all honesty, like as much as CSV is probably a standardized like name for it, I would rather, instead of
Something
using
else?
like brevity, I
Yep.
would rather like this is also just me. I don't know if this is like
no,
what
please
you would
continue.
do,
Yep.
but I like to, if I'm ever like reading raw data from something or doing something odd or undescribed, I like to immediately describe what the thing is.
Yeah.
Because of course it's a
No, I
comma
mean-
separated value. So I would just say like statistics or like statistic
Yep.
strings or something like that, like as what it actually is, because it's the
Mhm.
character statistics that we're getting.
Yeah. No,
rather than
I
just,
think
like
so you're right now. I think that like hero, or like we'll say stats, maybe, right? I think that right now is a stronger solution right now. But I'm gonna change, like we're gonna iterate on how we're using this, and we're gonna do something we're gonna do something clever in just a bit, and then it won't just be stats, it'll be equipment as well. And whatever scalable content. So you are onto something. I want you to know that. And I think given the current context, like, yeah, well, calling it stats might be better.
Mhm.
Right. And only one more letter, which is fine for this issue. But yeah, so we pump in our values. And then we're gonna sanity test. Right. So we shouldn't be saving equipment, but right now this solution should be saving stats. Right. Stats should be saved. Where's my Unity? Okay, there it is. So sorry, saved and loaded. So let's do this. Oh, that's a good party. So I'm gonna save party. Then I'm gonna re-roll, and then I'm gonna load. And there we go. We've saved our character stats. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Okay, great. So we did save. So save slash load stats. But now we need to save slash load equipment. Right? Let's put these up here because we did these. Right? So and we're trying to figure this out now. I think now in a much more compelling way. We decided that we were gonna use commas to separate our character stats. But now we got to come back to it because we want to save/load equipment. So we talked about a few different ways to do this. We talked about like, oh, we could add here a line, right? We go like, what is it, like a pipe character somebody said they were using? Right? And then we go like something like this. And then we go plus equip 1 plus, and we just keep doing this, something like that. Right? Like this was an idea that was talked about, kind of thing, something like that, right? Where equip, like we'd actually get the equipment from party character, like pc.equip. Wait, what is it? Oh, it's equipment. Right, but it's a list, and we'd have to get that, and we could store it in, variables. But what else can we do? What else can we do? A second here. You know, and just to be clear here, I want this to remain super consistent. I want this to be easy to read. I want this to be scalable, right? So the solution that I shared just a second ago with the equip over here, if we had gems in that equipment, that shit would get hairy real fast. Real fast. That would get very, very hard to read very fast. So what can we do? What can we do? Well, one of the things some of you did was you saved the number of pieces of equipment, and then you interpreted that, right? So you saved a file somewhere, a line that said, oh, there's going to be 3 pieces of equipment, because equipment is variable. It's not consistent. There's we re-roll some parties, we'll see like here, this one has 2 pieces of equipment. This one has 3 pieces. 3 and 3. Lots of 3s. 2, 3. I think 1 is possible, but between 2 and 3 is typical. Well, maybe 1 isn't possible. Anyways, right? But we got to save that equipment. So, I mean, we can say like one of the things that maybe is obvious is we're going to need to loop. No, for each. Haha. For each piece of PC equipment, and we won't use var, we'll use int because we want to be clear about we'll say E for equipment, right? We want to write that piece of equipment to a line. But now we have a problem. So what's the problem with this format that I just made here? I'll spit it out so we actually get to see it. What's going to be the problem with trying to let's re-roll. Let's get party of 4. What's going to be the problem with trying to read this file? What's the problem we now have? We have the data, and just to be clear, I think for us this is readable, right? I think we can say, oh yeah, no, I mean, this is the red mage stat. These are the 3 pieces of equipment, right? This is our fighter stats. Like we're able to read this, but what are we doing? What's making this capable for us to read? We're looking at the line and we're saying, oh, this is this type of line. Oh, this line, that's an equipment line. That's an equipment line, That's a stats line. Right? So we're analyzing the type of line that we're reading. We are analyzing the type of line that we're reading. But how can we do that? With data on the file. Anybody?
Can you repeat the question?
No. Here we go. So now let me ask the question. Now, how do we know? So I'm gonna change. Oh, no. There we go. Save party. Oh, no, let's close that. Now, how do we know which line is which? Class? Or anybody?
So all the ones are equipments?
Yeah. Yeah. And the zeros are stats. Okay. Cool. If I scroll down and I'm here, how can I know what to do? How do I check if it's a one or a zero? A zero or a one?
We have to do the int parse. Does C# support the like numerical value is true, zero is false thing? Or is it the other way around? I can't remember.
We're gonna imagine if we scale, if we had gems, if we had perks, if we had like an ongoing stuff, we'd have to build up a list of these signifiers. And in that little scale. So if it's zero, we're doing this. Right. And I should quickly note that we have to advance all of these because we
probably use like an enum to make
Hmm,
more
yep.
like legible signifiers.
Let's come back. Let's write that down. Use. Yep. Absolutely. We'll come back to that. You're totally right. And if it's one, you can say, we'll get the last value. So the last value that was added, and we can go equipment last. And maybe we want to split that line of two, but anyways.
Is Jason still here? This is like almost exactly. Oh yeah, you are still here. This is almost exactly what you were doing. I remember when we were looking through all of our examples, Jason did something really interesting where he had his whole thing in a switch case, like for the different like blocks. I think his was like a little bit different than this. Like he didn't used to, but that's kind of funny. Like
Yeah, I looking back at it, I probably would have done a void call for a function to make the character, but I didn't consider the scaling aspect, and I think that would probably be easier with the switch statement.
Yeah, just to be clear, this can be a switch statement, right?
I just find it, I don't know, I find it funny that like you were saying that like I think my solution is terrible, but here we are.
Yeah,
It actually was like pretty close to the ideal one.
I would, I would be very careful to say anything as an ideal. The trick is to just know many techniques, right? And like, yeah, like, to know many techniques. I will say that this goes to this you can port to the byte layer very easily and it'll work. Not that you've seen it really too. CSV is also very efficient unless you're sending floats. His floats do not convert to strings, or doubles do not convert to strings very well. But
In that
anyways,
case,
yeah,
you wouldn't need a separator. You could just assume the packing size. Like if you know it's 4 bytes.
if you're using a byte layer serialization, it's identical to CSV, except there is no comma separators. You just know that like the next 4 bytes are this, the next 4 bytes are this. And that's actually why I get people to practice using this CSV, is because if you're familiar with CSV, it's very easy to port. And normally it takes about 30 minutes for to cover that.
Oh shoot.
Mhm.
You know what? This is I kind of missed the like when we were brainstorming ideas, so I was still making coffee downstairs, but I just remembered that I did think of something while I was working on making coffee.
Mhm.
And I'm curious what your thought on it is. It
Mhm.
might be like this might be like 2 labs down the line, but
Mhm.
I was thinking about like, and this could also be more for assignment too, but I was thinking about making a header for the file, where
Okay.
like I just always look up the first line or 2 lines or whatever the hell. And like if I was doing on the byte layer, I would look up like the first 32 bytes of my file would contain like information about the file in its
Yeah.
order.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. Totally. Like one of the things like let's say this was running at scale over time. The first line on our file might be like hey, this is the version number of the save file format, right? Stuff
Right.
like that. I mean, like with JSON, that's what they do.
Yeah, and that's actually such a good point too. I'm
Mhm.
glad you brought that up because that is absolutely something that you do have to keep in mind. Like
Yeah, no,
if you
that's
just tried to load any of our previous versions from any of our previous iterations, it would blow up.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And that's where something like JSON's really good, right? For big data. Because you can have multiple iterations of data and it's just it'll kind of sort of work, but it's very pricey on storage.
Mhm.
Um,
It's
but
easier
anyways,
to convert. It's easier to
oh,
convert.
it's dirt easy to convert, right? But it's not, yeah. And I want all of you to be aware of how serialization is working under the hood. I don't want anybody, skipping over this part of what it means to be a netcoder. This is an absolutely essential part to be aware of. Okay, so right now our solution is working. We are saving and loading stats and equipment. But are we done? Is this a done solution that we have right now? I mean, we got this done, but we these, and we also have some notes on clean code, right? I don't think we're done. I don't think we're done. Um, one of the other prints, yeah, no. So how do we clean this up? I mean, we did do some things like we cleaned up this line from the sample code to make this as much prettier, right? But how do we continue to clean this up? Well, let's get rid of our debug logs because we don't need them anymore. We know that our stuff is working. Right. I like to just comment debug logs out because sometimes I have to go back in and I like having my references of like, oh, that's something I had to check at once upon a time. I just do. And that's actually how I use comments. Keep some code commented out that I once used. Okay. But what are some things we can do to clean up this code?
Replace our single and double letter variable names.
Okay, yeah, this is a shit variable name. So what do we want to call this?
I think just stream writer, like
I like it.
in
I like it.
just lowercase. Yeah.
Yep.
To show
No, I
that
like it.
it's I also do that for variables too. Like I have my objects declared with a capital and then my variable names are always Pascal case.
Yeah. No, I dig. I dig, right? So we can, be consistent. But yeah, no, that's much easier to read, right? Because like we did have the thing happen before where it's like SR, and I just thought it was the stream writer, right? And it's like, what? No. But it's like, no, this is much clearer now. The word writer is in there. And yeah, it made these lines a little bit longer, but not,
We're
I
not
think it's fine.
we're not
Okay.
running on 80 column displays anymore. We
Yeah,
can
yeah.
afford to
We can afford
scroll.
it. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, to use the writer ID, it always does shit like this for me.
Oh fuck.
You know, Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm half on the fence. I don't normally, but anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the next thing I can do to clean this up?
Um,
Let's somebody else. Come on. Somebody else.
yeah.
Like, what else can I do to clean this up?
I might be thinking ahead here, but
That's
can
fine.
the equipment all be in one line? Because right now the equipment's on multiple lines instead. If you look at the save file.
Yeah, I mean, it
So,
is, but what would be the advantages of putting it all in line?
uh, be easier to read, I think,
Oh,
because
yeah?
when it comes to
Okay.
scalability, like you said, if suddenly each character has more than three, right? Like you get, and
Hmm.
then also if you start adding in other stuff with like gem slots and abilities and whatnot, you're gonna get a lot of lines that are just duplicated lines, essentially. In my opinion, it's
Well,
duplicated because
yeah,
they are like,
yeah. Well, the whole different values, right? I think putting multiple things on one line. So, I mean, like, let's say we had gems, right? Let's say this piece of equipment had a gem on it. We would have something like this plus like whatever the gem code is, right? And that would say, okay, this is our new character. Those are stats. This is a piece of equipment for this character. This is a piece of equipment for this character. This is a gem for this equipment, right? And we might have other things like 3 could be a perk, right? No, I think the one line per intention, right? Is fine. I mean, there is this idea of like we could put multiple things there. We definitely could. But I think this is very cleanly scalable. What else can we do to clean up this code? I think this is perfect, but what can we do to clean up this code? Oh shit. How can this code be cleaned up more? How can we clean up this code more? There's a few good things. Anybody? Oh, well, we got a classroom of 27 people here. Is anybody typing chat? No. Oh, come on, team. Nobody? No.
is the string line in load party used for anything else? I
Is this string line right here? Line?
because we got line and then it's line stream reader dot read. Oh, and then line dot split. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. I thought we
Yeah.
could change something about that, but
could I add an idea? I'm curious
Yeah,
what you guys
please.
think.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
What I did for mine, and I find this better, just for like consistency's sake. But I like to just have a single write. Like what I did to do this is I used my functions to like build the string that I want to output,
Yeah.
and then I just like send it as one package
So
unit.
so you're saying like this.
Like rather
We
than
might be better if we only had one stream writer, like one write line function call.
yeah, like I was thinking like at the end, and then
Let's
we
put that
immediately
down.
close it.
Mhm.
As just to like, because then instead of it being like it's I
No,
think like for me it's a
you're
clean
onto
code
something.
principle where it's like I want to touch other libraries as little as possible. I want to
Yeah,
have it
no,
have
if
it
you had to
very
port,
clear where I have to.
if you had to port, yeah, it'd be a lot cleaner if it was only in one place. Because actually, in some ways, this is a repeating line of code, right?
We're doing the exact same thing multiple times, and all this is really
Yeah.
doing is just adding a new line character between them.
Yeah, I mean, this I think is an acceptable way to use it. I think that this is fairly acceptable. But there's this idea of like, let's put this in short. Let's say like, do not repeat yourself, right? Which by the way is dry. right? That's a do not repeat yourself is an absolutely essential bit of clean code. If you're repeating yourself a lot, it's no good. No good. Okay. So how else can we clean up this code? I think I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna start rant. So like the first thing is we got to get rid of these. These are floating numbers. You should never have floating numbers, right? Even this is a floating constant, we'll say. Right? So we go like we can do enum and oh, shit. There we go. We'll say signifier. And we can say hero stats. Oh no, we won't say hero because we have to do that every time. So we'll say stats. And we will say equipment.
I
And
would
we need
honestly
to
just argue for full. Like, if we're gonna make it equipment,
Mhm.
then stats should also just be statistics, like the full word.
oh, yeah, no,
It's up to
yeah.
you.
Nah, I mean, maybe a good point, right?
Either like if we're gonna
Yeah.
make the shortening stats, then we should also change equipment to like equip or
equipment to- yeah.
something.
Equip.
Yeah, just like consistency, either one way or the other.
Yeah. No, actually, I like the idea of like 4 letters or like 5 letters, like fewer. Like, because we have here signifiers, right?
Hmm.
So we go like signifiers dot stats, and that's an enum. So we have to. Oh, so okay, this is actually in a lot of cases I don't use enums because what's going to happen here?
It's not
It's gonna-
super.
It's going to
explicit.
typecast to. It's going to typecast like. Well, here, let's just do it. Let's just save and show you.
I feel like we could
Uh,
also switch our string formatting method instead of using like the implicit conversion. If we use like the formatted string, it's a more explicit toString.
Yeah. So the toString that they're using is
Oh, does
Is,
it not take the numerical value?
no, it's gonna well.
That
shit,
sucks.
No.
Revert.
Revert. Oh, here we go. Like
Oh, that
stats
sucks.
equip. It's good for debugging. It's good for debugging. Actually, it's a really nice feature for when you're debugging because you get to see like the name of the enum rather than the thing. But you got to go like this, right?
That's
And so
dangerous.
a lot of times when I teach this, I just use constants because students always mess this up. But we're gonna write really clean code, which is gonna prevent us from messing this up.
I think that is also one of the things why I like, prefer C and whatever else, where it's like there is no abstraction. It like
Yeah,
this
no,
is
no,
it's a
no, they're
handy
not
thing,
wrapping your
but
shit. Yeah.
yeah, I don't like that it's doing things that I didn't tell it to.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go. We got it working again for us, right?
Hmm.
And just to be clear, well, let's re-roll and we can load our party and it's working great. Okay, cool. So let's go over here and let's implement
Should we just make it a switch?
yeah, well let's do that in a second here. Just one step at a time. I think right there. And it'll know to doesn't it? No, we gotta
Fuck. Oh man.
int. I know, right? No, I know. I actually
What's
in a
the
lot of
point of
cases don't
enumerator
use
if it's not
enums.
an integer?
No, I I don't even know what to say. I think there's a way int enum or something like that. We can
Yeah. Oh,
There's-
this is like inherited from
there's-
C.
yeah,
in
there's a way
C++.
to do it. There's a way to make it so it's like hard typed a little bit more, but I actually find that convoluted and confusing.
Mhm.
Because
Did you know
it's like
took
when is it
until,
hard type?
like C23 for like
Yeah.
the ability to guarantee the size of an enum, like to explicitly say that it's a character or an int?
Yeah.
Or a
Yeah, no,
short?
I mean, yeah, no, it's classic use of this enum is very high level, and I think an enum should be more low level because it's a building block tool rather than. But I mean, the same could be said for string in some contexts. But anyways, we have these repeating all over the place. This is shit, right? These are floating, right here as well, right? What if I overlook the thing and I put a this there? Oh no, right? That happens. That's gonna happen, right? Because I'm writing the same line or the same part multiple times. So let's go over here. Let's go const char. Is it the other way around? Sep char separator character equals. Oh my. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yes. Oh, and it's a constant. So let's go start with capital. Okay. So we put these in there. Better. Right? Actually, I can just find replace. But anyways, whatever, it's almost done. But okay, so that makes it cleaner. Still not there though. Still not totally there. What else can I do to make this cleaner? There's a bunch more.
Formatted string, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I would like to come to that line. I think also here, this.
Oh, yeah, we should set a
That's
path.
kind of shit. Yeah, we should have like a.
I think the thing for it is like application dot persistent data path.
Yeah, application dot persistent data path is what you should be saving, especially if you're doing mobile. So yeah, let's
I added a like extra thing for like data path / application product name because
Yep.
I checked like the documentation for it, and half of the time it puts it in a folder that is named like persistent data path / product name, but then on the other half it just dumps it into all the same file. Like on Linux, it just puts it in fucking home directory / Unity 3D with no product name. So
Yeah,
like
man, like,
anytime you have more than
no
one
effort.
thing,
Yeah, no effort to
exactly.
support fucking Linux. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Save file.
So-
Save file name. Save file name. Yeah, you know what? That's something I think we'll just get into a little later on. Because it like normally we would have an init, right? But this is a weird assignment. Like there's no architecture on this project. Like the architecture is like, let's have everything in a thing called internal systems and system it, right? Like doesn't. Yeah. No, there's. The architecture here is to make it clear for the student to have these two functions, right? So we don't have an init function. So and it's inside of an init function that we would set that up,
We
right?
could
With
also
application.
do static, like if
We
we're
could-
not super caring
we
about
could-
this being a
we could-
const.
No, I mean we could set up an init function, but I'd have to go and bum it off the system manager, and I don't as
That's complicated.
outside this. Yeah, like we don't have to architect this project. I just want these two functions nice and clean.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have our signifiers, we have our separator character, we have our save file name. Okay,
Can
this is
we,
looking pretty good. This is looking pretty good. It can still be much cleaner.
For our like party character creation, where we just have like a bunch of int parse and then CSV
Yeah.
add one. That's
Yeah.
kind of still gross in that it doesn't say what the things are being passed into are at all.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean like this is repeating a lot. Right? Like that's kind of not good, I would say. Right? Like we're parsing into int dot parse. It's like, well, maybe we should do this somewhere else, right? Because this is a convoluted line of code, and we don't want it to be convoluted. We want it to be very straightforward.
I think like something more like that. Oh, that like splits it horribly. Ew. I
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
that.
No,
Sorry,
no, I think
like it crunched my nice line into.
no, I get what you did there. I get what you did there. Let me take this. And this is a way, like when I see this in code, in student submissions, it makes me smile. Right? So is that this is the thing that is. right? And that's good. We could replace that with that,
Um,
right? And
I
that's
did
that's
keep it
pretty.
PC
Yep.
because that was the format that you used elsewhere, and I do want to bring this up if like you think it's good or bad.
Mhm.
If somebody else makes a poor choice in the code base, I
Mhm.
will almost always, unless I like
Just
bring it up to them and say, hey, this needs
yeah.
to be fixed,
Mhm.
I just leave it the way it is and use
Yeah.
whatever they're using just for consistency's sake, so that when they're working after I've made a pull request or whatever, and they're like, why the fuck are all my variables named differently?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just avoid the
Yeah. Yeah.
headache,
Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah. Yeah. Just to stick with it.
even if it's a bad
I
design.
don't know. I think that depends on your relationship with the person you're working with, right? Because sometimes like they'll appreciate like an iteration on their variable names. But yeah, to your point though, I think you were saying basically it's like PC is not very descriptive,
Mhm. But I
right?
left it as that because that's the standard elsewhere. Like I would explicitly ask them for like consent to modify their code and say like, hey, can we change the standard? I don't like this standard.
Yeah.
Instead of just like either
Yeah.
assuming
No,
that
I
I can or can't.
probably, yeah, having the conversation rather than just doing it, probably the play. Um,
I've gotten in trouble
yeah.
on code bases from other modifying other people's code. So like
Ah.
because I'm like, this sucks and it could be better. And it's like, no, just do it this way. And so like, it just makes more hassle, I find, especially in larger teams.
Mhm.
If
So,
you're fucking with other people's shit, it just almost always causes problems.
okay. So this is a pretty good idea. I want to put it to the side for a second because I think we're gonna abstract in a slightly different way, right? So, um, I want to point out that like this right here, these are repeating lines of code, right? Down here as well, and even here, and that's a complexity that we want to separate. We want to take this complexity that we've put on one line, that we've merged into another line. We want to put it here. So I want an int array of, let's say, CSV
As int or something.
data. Yeah, or something like that. We'll come back to the name.
This is also why I avoid shorthands, because it
Yep.
makes it really, really difficult to camel case. If I have to
Yep.
use a single letter, I almost always just use an underscore in between,
Mm-hmm.
like to make it just more readable. If it's, I would do like CSV underscore data or something in the case where it's like shortened, just so like
Mhm.
you visually can see the gap.
So this is how we declare an array, right? Yeah. And then we can go. I mean, we can do a for each, but I think a for loop is more appropriate. Check. And we can go. And we'll come back to the variable names. So I'm not a fan of that one that I have here. Okay. So now we're just going, we get rid of all these int dot parse. We're back to doing this. Right? Which is much nicer. Right? That just got a lot clearer to work with, right? So like we read the line, we split the line, we declare an array, and we put all the data. I mean, we should put those two together. Right? But that basically says we're no longer yeah, I mean we're in a situation where it's gotten a little bit cleaner on this one line where we had a lot of complexity, right? Because this line here, we have a shit show of complexity. And now we don't. Or now we have significantly less. Right? And we have less repeating lines of code. It's so much easier on the eyes. That right there is a lot easier on the eyes. Okay. Okay, how else can we clean up this code? Use this. Iterate on variable names. Don't repeat yourself where we're attacking. Right? I mean, right now we have this line and this line are kind of the same. Right? In some ways. Right? We got this sep char plus a stat, sep char plus a stat. And just to be clear, if we had gems or if we had perks, we'd be going like for each perk.
Hmm. Should we
Right?
change our E to like item or something for each item and equipment?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Sorry,
instead
each
of it just
item.
being- Oh, because you have like for each int E in PC.equipment. I would like do int
Yeah.
item in or something like, or item ID in equipment or something along those lines.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Like maybe EID, equip. Yeah, no. I mean, I get what you're saying there.
It's
Yeah,
up to you though.
no,
If-
no. I think you're onto something. I always try to keep between 1 to 3 letters for an iterator.
That's actually fair. That's totally fair.
Right? Yeah. For an iterator, 1 to 3 letters, and for very shortly lived variable names like this,
Mhm.
3 to 5 letters.
I see. And you know what? That actually makes a lot more sense. And it helps
Yep.
you if you ever find yourself in the case where you're like, what the fuck is this variable again? That
Oh,
should be
yeah.
a trigger of like, oh
You
wait,
just communicated scope. The
my
scope of
scope
the
is getting
variable.
too big. or something like that. Like if you
No,
start getting to the
if-
point where it's too big, like
Yeah. So if you see 1 to 3 letters, you know that it's an iterator. If you see
Mhm.
like 3 to 5 letters, you know it's a short-lived variable. And if you see a full name, then you know it's member variable or global.
okay. I like that actually. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's straight out of the Go best practices programming menu.
Mhm.
I think that's maybe I'm off by like a number or two, but yeah, that's
As long as it's
a way
consistent.
to perform communication very discreetly and effectively,
I
and it's
see, yeah.
absolutely essential. Yeah, no, it's absolutely essential. Like it helps so much. Like
I think
yeah, it
something
is really
else
smart,
that's
Mo.
like really
Yeah.
good to have as well is like on all of my like Get projects or whatever, all my GitHub projects that I have uploaded, at least the ones that are good and are like well maintained, I have a
Mhm.
like in my info, I have the like, or my README, I have the what is the thing, what does it do, and then like a breakdown of my code like style rules, so
Mhm.
it's readable of like, you know, if it's in C, then every single function that would be a quote like air quotes member function of the object is prefixed with the object name and then an underscore or
Yep.
like something like that. And
Mhm.
yeah, that would be one that I would just like have written as a communicated thing so that people
Yep.
understand.
Yeah, and you can be consistent to it, and it's all
It's like
all
I
sorts of
think
good
that's what
stuff when reading
confused a
code.
lot of people when we were working with Team Hero Coder in like first semester, because at no point had anyone told us about that rule. And so
Mhm,
it's like,
mhm.
what the fuck is PC?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. I want to point out, like I was saying, like in a sense, like this line of code is a lot like this line of code, right? And I think Ethan pointed out, like he wrote a solution where he only had one streamWriter.write line, right? Because you could put it inside of a variable of like line to write or whatever, right? Or maybe that won't work there, but yeah.
Did it with
Okay,
like
so that's so like this is actually where okay, so Ethan just 1 second.
oh my bad. Should I not?
No. Ethan's suggesting something like that. Now, this is actually where the built-in shorthand can kind of put you into a local maximum, right? Where it's that would be an improvement, but maybe not,
Mhm.
right?
It
Maybe
depends.
not.
This also is like because I have mine split into 2 lines. Like I have a distinct line that's for statistics and a
Yep.
distinct line that's
Yep.
for equipment.
So public string on concatenation. I think that's how you spell it. So concatenation means with chaining in Latin, but the English, a series of interconnected things or events, the action of linking things together in a series
Oh, well, that makes sense, right? That is literally Latin for a series.
with chaining.
It's yeah, it's using to
With
like
chaining.
with
Yeah.
chains is in literally they have been chained together with the
So,
chain. 'Cause, yeah.
Concatenation? No, concatenate data into CSV. Okay, and the first thing I want to take in is not an enum,
Should we
but
fix
a
that?
specific signifier. We'll say signifier, and then I want to take in a list of strings.
I've never
um,
done variable arguments in C#.
Yeah, this is so normally I'm not a fan of using advanced like any syntax that we don't need, but we want a function where we can take in a variable number of strings for scalability. Because when we do this one, we're only passing in one int. Oh, and it should be an int, not a int. What am I calling it? Data. Is that right? 1 second here. 1 second. Let me. I got to return a string. And then what's the error? Params. Collection type. It has to be an array. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And then what's the problem here? Oh,
Oh, it's yeah,
public
declared in the
enum.
class. Okay.
Yeah, is that changing it? Yeah, public there. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So concatenate data into CSV can be used
Instead of that, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So how do we concatenate the data? Well, we take our signifier and we have to do the
Should we do like a for each item in data?
yeah. So let's go string on concatenated data. And then we'll go equals. This is the line of code that bothers me the most with using enums. And it's fine because we have it isolated, so we only have it happening once. But this is the line that just drives me nuts. We have to typecast into it. Yeah, no, this is where. Yeah. Because we have to typecast first into parentheses can be removed. Okay.
Oh, whatever. Fucking.
I mean,
VS Code
yeah.
like thinks it knows better than you, but often it
Yeah,
doesn't.
it doesn't. That's we'll put them back.
Because this is
Type
like
int
now
to string.
what's happening first? Is it to string and then to int, or is it to int and then to string? Like,
Yeah. No, I know.
And this is the case where like the formatted string I think works better. Like because
yeah,
when it's a formatted string, you know that there's a like explicitly going to be called to string for each. But of course that doesn't fucking work, right? We would have to
that doesn't work. No, that doesn't work. You have to typecast to the int first to ensure that you don't get the name of the enum. Yeah. So 1 second here. We'll go return. Okay, so we got rid of that error. And then how do I do this? Let's put those brackets back in. And then string. We go string.parse.
I think it's it's int.parse. To
turn it to
sorry,
no, I'm trying to implicitly typecast. No, I screwed up. I was implicitly trying to typecast there. That's not what we want to do.
Is this what it is?
So we go int.parse.
Oh no, I'm fucking brain dead. No, int.parse will turn a string into an int.
No,
that's the other way.
This works here. Yeah, so string.part.
I think we're being I think I goofed up because I'm thinking of the opposite case of turning a string into an integer rather than turning an integer into a string. I think is there like int.toString or something?
Yeah, there is a .toString, right? Can you use here toString? And that's what's being implicitly called right here, by the way. When this resolves and then it turns into a string, it needs to turn into a string to be joined with a char. That's what's happening. ToString. So okay, there we go. So that's this ugly line.
This would also be valid.
Yeah. It's
it
calling the
done?
two string. That's probably also calling two string. Let's actually just use the name because like that's
True.
like, I don't know. You know what? It's a shit show. I don't like it either way. And that feels like
Yeah.
we're jumbling around the C# language.
That's
but
totally
yeah,
fair.
but then yeah, let's just so let me go for oops.
So we just do a for each, right?
We could, but sometimes when we're dealing with an array and we have a fixed length, I mean that this is a good question. Because I actually when I'm coding, I just default to the for each. But I felt like because this is an academic exercise,
Mm.
I should use the for loop because the for loop can be more descriptive.
Mm.
I don't know if that's felt.
Yeah, no, that's actually fair.
I mean, maybe it's just simpler, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think a
See-
lack of complexity hiding,
Mhm.
right? I don't know. But
It
anyways,
still
this
kinda
works.
irks me. I don't, man. I think this is also just a gripe with the C# language and why like this is also why I prefer the formatted strings is because like because I know what a formatted string is, then it feels more explicit to me than just having a plus. I
Yeah.
really hate operator overloading. I think on the surface
Yeah,
level,
no,
it's
yeah.
like a cool feature to have, but then when
Yeah.
you actually try to use it, it is a fucking nightmare because plus can call malloc and free. Like, why does it need to do that? Plus should be numerical addition, not anything else.
Yeah. No, I agree. I see sometimes coders they jump to use overload operators and it really is a place that can hide significant complexity,
Absolutely, it can.
right?
For
Yeah.
some reason,
And if we're
this.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Professor. I was going to say this. For some reason, what you're talking about reminds me of something kind of that sometimes happens when we work in Professor Human's class, where because we're constantly like working with you know, assigning render memory, it's easy to
Yeah.
like kind of go over what you intend and then run into like a crash, null exception error, and then you have no idea what's happening or where it went wrong, and you have to like kind of guesstimate which array is overloaded array is messing up like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or even like simple things like for a graphics library
Mhm.
like on the surface it would be really cool if like I could do vector plus vector and that's explicit, like that's pretty clear on what it is, but what is a matrix plus a matrix? What's a matrix times a quaternion? Like there you end up with like a ton of ambiguity.
Yeah.
I prefer to do like where instead of it being like a function that takes two things and returns something, I have a void function that takes like a reference of a thing, and then an output where I like explicitly I modify the thing that is going to be out. So then it's like it forces me to declare the variable of like the result in the scope, and then I pass it in as a reference, and then after that function ends, it is modified to now be the result of that operation. So it's like very one-to-one.
Yeah.
It forces you to unroll things so you don't do something like square root f of v dot x times v dot x plus y, that kind of thing where it's just
Yeah. Well, complexity on like one line, like holy shit, and like the amount of shit that's being hidden. Anyways,
like,
okay.
what the fuck is this? That's from
Yeah,
Kai's
I don't
code.
want to quite understand that.
Horrible.
Oh boy, yeah, oh boy, yeah, like some matrix algebra going on. But yeah, okay, so this is a nice line of code, right? We cleaned up. Oops, we cleaned up what was a very messy line of code, right? And we replaced it with this, and we've now we've now we're not repeating ourselves, right?
You know what? I might
We're,
even also add a
we're not repeating ourselves. Yeah.
like set a variable to be equal to the like return result. So like string as CSV equals concatenate data into CSV of the things, and then I just do
Bingo.
like
That,
right
that
line.
that no. That was the next thing I want to get at actually, which is like, but even with this, we are taking this is a major operation. Concatenate data into CSV. right? That is a major operation. And we're doing it on the same line we're doing this other major operation. And there's this idea of self-commenting code. So if you go string, we'll say stats CSV data equals, right? More readable,
And if
more
there's an error in either,
welcoming. And if
like-
there's an error in either, you can catch it.
Mhm.
It'll be on its own line. Absolutely. There's this idea of only do one thing on each line.
That's the other
Only
thing too, that
do
like
one
out.
thing on each line. Sorry, what was that?
That's the other thing too, that like that solution that I was talking about earlier of using like parameter out parameter as in like function declarations where it
Yeah.
mutates a specified out value.
Yeah.
That forces you to only ever do one thing. And that's also why, again, that really gets into why like having like overridden operators is so bad, because it lets you do as many things as you want in a single line, and it makes it look clean and tidy, but there's like a bunch of hidden complexity.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes I would argue, if you get very common to the shorthand, like if you're very familiar with the shorthand, it can be okay because you're so used to it and you always know it, right? And you took the time to go study what was going on before you start using it. But yeah, no, I mean, especially in like a learning setting, it's complexity. Oh my God. Do not want a complexity guide. So okay, over here. So we'll say equipment CSV data equals this here. And then, and you could say like, oh, that's less efficient. And you'd be sort of right, but who gives a shit? This is self-commenting code. This is all on one thing on each line. And this is very welcoming. I think that this is very easy to read. Right? I think that this is very easy to read. Okay, 1 second here. So we have this working very clean. Let's go back down here. Iterate on variable names. Have we done that? This idea of only have one right line, I think that might be more useful in another context. It's interesting because, okay, look, this does come to be when you abstract it so that like you can serialize to the network or to like the hard drive, this becomes a thing. But that is currently outside of the abstraction needed for, I think, this solution. Okay, let's see here. How else can we clean up this code? Are we repeating ourselves anywhere?
Not that I can. I guess we've got a lot of int parses still, but
Yeah, I think in parse.
we should fix signifier here.
Oh,
Int signifier
wait.
equals-
We don't need to. Yeah, we can CSV data. Right, we can do that because we have that now. No, I mean that
Can
was
C# do localized scopes?
like, can we declare a variable right in here
I just
and
mean
have it
like
only exist?
in Rust, there's this
Mhm.
cool thing where you can just like open a set of curly braces and then like do something.
Yeah, and declare a variable that's local to there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll work here. But you
I
can go
still
like
don't know.
int.
It's really
and then
useful
we
for like
can
shadowing and whatever else.
And then SDS is something. It doesn't exist here.
Yeah. So like maybe we could do that for the CSV, since we like use it and then it falls out of scope halfway through the function.
Okay. No, I think you're getting onto something here.
Or like maybe we could package the like, reading that line somehow. I don't know if it's worth separating to a whole function.
So this is you posed a solution and then you posed the problem to the solution, which will lead us to the next piece of nuance, which is like, yeah, so we could actually take this and right now, like all we need in here is this, right? All we need is CSV save data. Right? But we don't want to really take that. Like that's all CSV save data is all we need to run this lower part. We don't need the stream reader anymore. We don't need the line split anymore. Right? So what I would say we should do here is we should use a region. And we'll say read and set up CSV data. Right? And this isn't exactly the same as abstracting onto a function, because like we're not going to recall the function in a separate place, right? So we don't need it. But it's the idea of that if any of you have watched the Robert C. Martin talk on clean code, you know, he goes on a rant about having code be polite.
That's very good.
Right.
I like that.
And that just made this a lot more polite, where it's like read and set up the CSV data. And now you can read all this and be like, oh, I don't know what CSV data is. Let's be consistent here. But I know that it's read and set up in this space. So I'm going to open that and I'm going to read this. And oh, okay, I understand that. Yeah, no, they read the line, they split it, and then they're converting it all into an int array. Cool, right? Very easy. But it's packaged. It's tucked away. It's tucked away. Very clean code to read. Very clean code.
I should set up my own theme so that the like region and then the tag for it is in green, because like I've trained my brain to recognize green as the section header of a thing. You've probably seen it in my code, but I always do at the start of every function, like the 3 comments, and then what is the thing? What is it supposed to do?
Sure.
Without fail, always. It was like drilled into me when I learned Python. I also, as a like, this is completely as an aside, I posted an example of that like clean code thing of doing like inputs and then the last variable being an output of like my code compared to the original version of the function as it was in Connor's library.
Yeah. So okay. So I think we have don't repeat yourself taken care of. I think we've done this. Right. I think we've done only one thing on each line. Is that correct?
I think. Oh no, we still have a parse CRV in.
You know, no. See. Yeah. CSV. And that was 1, right? Yep. I mean, we could maybe also throw another region here.
Parser. Okay, yeah, process. That makes sense.
Data. To load, to create.
Would it be easier to just say like set up party characters from CSV data?
Yeah. No, I think so. I think that's right. Set up party characters.
Just to like keep it consistent. Where we have
I
set
think,
up above.
No, set up. Yeah. No, because consistent. Yeah. So we say set up party characters from CSV.
And now it reads as plain English, where we have first we read and set up the CSV data, and then we set up the party characters from the CSV data that we just got.
Yeah, I put a space there. Yeah. No, it's very polite and easy to read code. Very polite and easy to read code. Right? Like this, you know, there's no, it's not overwhelming. Yeah.
This is the other thing too, that I think is really important. And I think we touched on it multiple times now, but the idea of like, you are not a compiler. You know, in my example that I sent, where like, you know, my code is what, like 20 lines long, sorry. And it uses these like quote unquote function calls, but really those are just macro definitions that unroll to something very similar. That's like, you know, was written by Connor, but like, I don't need to squeeze every ounce of performance out of writing out the whole thing manually.
No, the hyperfixation on performance, the hyperfixation on performance is it's not appropriate for game developers or most programmers. Like unless you're developing engine tools that need to be optimized, like it's not the thing to, it's not the principle to hyper focus on. But in first year and second year, like we wanted to make you aware of it. So it was one of the first ones we taught you about, but it's not like it's there's times where you need to be aware of it and to optimize a bit. But those are specific contexts. And most of the time you're trying to write clean, readable code. So
And
yeah, I
this
mean,
thing too
okay.
is like
Go
they're
ahead.
like using regions and whatever else or macros. Like my code is actually like functionally identical. Like if you unrolled the object file for this, it would be line for line exactly the same because all of those functions are macro definitions that expand
Mhm.
out into a inline
Yeah.
function
So
call.
so
And
so
the just-in-time
yeah.
compiler can do that too. Like that
Yeah, no,
load or concatenate that just gets inlined directly. It's smart enough to do that for you.
Yeah, and like loop unraveling, and there's tons of shit
Yeah.
that the compiler just does to optimize for you. Yeah, okay. So there was one idea, this idea of only have one right line, right? And I want to talk about another complexity that we've mixed here. So building this data and saving it are two different processes. So single responsibility. Single responsibility. It's a major thing in clean code. Write a function. When you write stuff, only have it have one responsibility. Right now, this is complexity mixing. Okay. This is complexity mixing because we're processing the CSV data, right? And we're loading it. Like this is a string. Pardon me, this is a loop. Okay, cool. We need a loop because we need to read line. Yeah. But and this needs to be in a loop, right? I mean, this bit here needs to be in a loop. But do we need to do the read line in the same place that we're doing everything else? Right? What about here? This is a cleaner. Sorry, I should have started here because this is a more precise example of complexity mixing. We're writing line here, and we're writing line here, but we're also like doing this thing where we're looping through our characters and we're getting all of our stat data. So what if I took this and I said, well, let's actually not. Let's not do that. So I'm going to declare a variable here called a linked list. And it's going to be string because that's what we're going to be saving. And I'll call it data to save, at least for now, equals new. All right, bam. And we will loop through all of our party characters, but rather than writing line, because we don't have a stream writer yet, and we don't want to look at our stream writer stuff because that's a whole other complexity. I'm just gonna go, well, oh, I did do it. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna go add last. Right, and I think maybe, you know, bad variable name on my part. Okay. But now we've created a scenario where we have a linked list and we just go for each string data in. We can iterate on the names. Right, we go like this. We put that there. And we take our right line. We're going to iterate on our variable names. And we take our close. And what's beautiful about what we just did is we're no longer like, see here how we're getting our data, we're concatenating it, and we're doing all that stuff, and then we're writing a line right away. These are two different processes, right? So we get rid of this now because we're doing each process individually. Single responsibility. Right? Single responsibility. Serialize data to be saved. End region. No. Oh, no, I can spell. There we go. But yeah, serialized data to be saved. That collapses. And then there's like, right. Oh, no, I have to do region. Right. Serialized data to, oh, let's just go serialized data up here. Don't need to mention what's going to happen next. There's no need to, right? But serialized data, and then write serialized data to HD. Nope. And region. And that's this idea of single responsibility. Now, these could be functions instead of regions, and that would be your traditional example of single responsibility. But the single responsibility says never do more than one thing in a function. Never do more than one thing in a function. This will make, debugging easier, right? So read and set up CSV. I think is pretty good. I think this is already, I mean, maybe we could use the language of deserialize now. We can do an iteration on variable naming. Yeah. Right. I mean, so just to take the exact thing that we did up above, so we go like linked list, string, data, say serialized data equals new, boom. And we're going to read line, and we're just going to do this. Line. Oh, somebody write something here. Okay, one second. We're to run into an issue. That's string. Yeah, yeah. No, it's all very isolated. Mhm. But again, we're further isolating. Like, remember the pathway counting puzzle, right? Where it got very easy to deal with because we did one thing at a time. When something's complex, there's just too much simplicity that you're chewing on at once. All right. And sorry, I should shut up and just code the thing. So you do this here. Right. And then over here, we're gonna do another loop. Yeah. And take all this. Right. We even close the thing. And sorry, I gotta put this in a loop. So we go for each string line in serialized data. I think this is right now. Yeah. Maybe we'll call this serialized line. Right. But anyways, yeah, that's another like we factored out the complexity of what we had going on here from the hard drive. So like we have our serialized data, and then we can put this in regions, and we go load serialized data from HD.
This is honestly so much better too than just having the region where it's like vaguely this is the thing here. Now it's very explicit in that we have a way to
Yeah,
access our data outside of the region that
Yeah,
isn't just
yeah.
like some magic variable.
No, I mean we're no longer reading. We're no longer reading. We're just setting up CSV data, right?
Mm. Yeah. Oh yeah, that
We're
should have
just
been our thing. We had to say and that should have been
We had to
our
say
immediate
and.
tell.
That should have been our immediate tell that we were doing two things at once, right? Yeah. No, that's crystal clear point. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think this is very good. I think now we get into right, and just to be clear, we have only one right line now, so it's no longer question marks. We actually figured out how to make it work well. We have one right line, right? Which is no, not there, but it's here once we. Right. But yeah, no. So now the active clean code goes to variable naming. And because we have our code written out now, we actually know what each variable does. And now is really the time to attack variable naming. I find trying to attack variable, we had a really interesting moment before. And this is when we were just making the function work. Where Ethan pointed out, and correctly at the time, that that this here, we should have referred to it as our stats, right? That this is stats CSV data, which I mean we did actually put here. But then I was like, oh no, but the equip thing, right? That's going to become a thing. So we're going to need. Anyways, what I'm getting at is it's very hard to name your variables until you're done setting them up. It's really only in hindsight that you can really construct very strong variable names because you understand the full context of how that variable is being used. I think our variable names are okay. I could probably interrogate, but I find that's normally where I lose my students. It's very tedious. But I will say, I mean, does anybody have anything on the variable names that they're like, no, that sucks? Does anything jump out at anybody? Or I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Yeah, and you know, everything's so decoupled that everything's so like you know everything is so self-commenting, right? So anyways, look how easy that code just got, right? And I just wanted to point out, like, if we wanted to add gems or sockets or perks or whatever, we would just expand this list. Yeah. No, this is super clean code. Right? This is extremely clean code. And I mean, you know, there's some arguments to be made, like it's very likely that like if you were sending data across the network, the act of deserializing, which is what's going on here, which we should make its own region, right? So that's something we should do, right? So we go region, deserialize data into characters, party characters, because characters is ambiguous with the data type. Characters. Party heroes is probably what I should use. Oh, and then we need to and region. right? This is something we'd probably want to we would probably want a deserialized function, because what if we were getting our data from the network rather than from the hard drive, right? But it's fine. It's fine for now. This is solid. This is a very solid answer. This is like, perfect marks. And again, entirely scalable. Like if you wanted to add gems, or if you want to add perk, right? And then you just go to where you're serialized and you just add here, right? Gems, right? Or gems would be inside the loop, right? Inside the equipment loop, because you'd be adding gems to the each piece of equipment. Perks, you get what I'm going at, right? Like you just put that there, and then the other place you'd have to go and operate would be on the deserialize, but it would be right here. And again, there's no other complexity that's muddying up your water, right? I mean, really, we should make these their own function. Just, I mean, it's not really necessary for here, but it is something that we're gonna want. Like, if this code base were to grow, so we go public, is it a linked list of string? It's a linked list of strings, not a string array, right? Yeah, linked list of string. Is that correct? It's a linked list. Yeah. Serialize, party characters to CSV, right? And I'm just gonna take this right here, and I'm gonna put this here, and let's take this here. And it's just going to be one line of code. So yeah, but things are isolated now, right? And if you need to iterate, it's very easy. So then, like, let's write our deserialize function. Oh, we have to return. Oh, let's not call it data to save. Let's call it serialized data to be consistent. Data. Okay, return serialized data, right? And maybe I'll keep these comments here because I want you to know where you would be adding these things. So that this obviously you don't, keep commented out shit like that laying around, but just because I want, we go to add gems to add perks, right? Just so you know where like that would go. But yeah, like this is clean. All right, this is very clean code that yeah, 1 6 deserialize. So I'm going to take this deserialize and I'm going to make this its own function. One second, I'm going to put it up here. So static public void deserialize let's say save data. Save data. What do we do here? Load serialize. Yeah, deserialize save data to and load party characters. Maybe that's an indicator that we're not doing something in a single responsibility way because we use the and word, but oh, we need to pass in serialized data. And we can obviously get rid of this, right? But so I think let's get this going here. Yeah, let me put this here, deserialize. Right. And what we have now is a very even cleaner, right? Oh, so I have up here these functions, and I put them up here because I want to take this as well, and I want to put it at the top, right? So and we should be doing a sanity test. I mean, we probably should have been doing sanity tests as we iterate it, but I mean, feel pretty comfortable with. Oh, we didn't save equipment. Or we didn't load equipment. Equipment's not popping up, and let's just save party. And then it looks like the stats are. So okay, if something happened with our party characters. That looks good. Save party. Right. Okay, let's go check our file. Looks like it's there. So is it in our deserialized where we're not loading? Oh, that's interesting. But we're not. Oh, guys, what's our error? Dumb error. Dumbest error. It's a very simple error. Look at the code. What are we doing wrong?
Your enum is wrong, right? Because it's signified on stats.
Yeah. Inadequate. There we go. Yeah. No, it happens all the time. Happens all the time. And we could talk about how to iterate on that a bit more. I think a switch case was mentioned. So definitely a thing we could do. Yeah, there we go. Okay, booyah. So now it's working in. But yeah, and again, that was very easy for us to go debug, right? And maybe this is actually a really good example to end on, because if we had more complexity going on in here, it would have been harder to isolate the problem. Right? Ethan's been bringing this up a few times, right? But it would have been harder to identify the problem. Okay. Fam, this is good. This is a very clean code solution. Again, I think we could go through and attack variable naming. I'm positive we could, because like it's really, variable naming is like the poetics of code, and it's the hardest thing to get right in terms of clean code. But yeah, any thoughts, questions, concerns?
Can I ask you a question, Fernando, about this?
Yeah.
So I would say on the later half of this, where we're cleaning it up, would you consider this as refactoring at this point?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, like what we did towards the end was refactoring. Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is sort of like when do we sort of do this? Because I've
Yes,
asked
great question.
professors about this, and there's quite a bit of professors that end up just telling me refactoring is somewhat of a bonus. I'm not quoting them specifically, but from what I understand, it's sort of refactoring you do when you need to do it. You don't do because you want to do it.
Yeah.
So because like even this, what we did right now, this still took a while to
Yeah.
refactor to
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I still think it was
Yeah.
necessary
So-
though, no?
Okay, no. So the question of when do you clean up your code and when do you not? So I mean, I will say that in the classroom, I stress clean code more than I actually apply into practice. So there's moments where my code is not as clean as what an A+ student would write. Now, the reason I do that is because I want you to know how to write clean code and to know how to refactor so that when you do need to, you know how to, and it's not something new. Now, I do want to point out that, like, yeah, here with this, it did take a while, but like, and we could have waited. But I want to suggest the idea that, look, when you're writing student projects, you're handing them in and then you're leaving them. Okay. But if you're working on a professional engineering team, you're developing a code base that's going to be operated on for years. You might inherit code that you didn't write, add a feature, and then the next coder is going to iterate on that. Like after you've left the job, somebody's going to come and iterate on your code to add a new feature. Right? So there's this idea of like, you really do need to learn how to write clean code for the workplace. And I also want to say, like, reoccurringly, and it's gone much worse with people now using Chat GPT. Reoccurringly, uh, at the 3-month mark, like, technical debt is a thing that you don't really experience while you're in school because your assignments are cookie cut out, and because you are moving on to the next assignment, which is in its own context. But when you're working on a project for over 3 months and you don't clean up your code, you will hit a situation where you add one thing and you break two others. Right? And now, just to be clear, like, there are instances, right, where you don't need, like, I have seen people where they apply like clean code principles to things that just don't need it. Like, here, if I may, this is from Team Hero Coder. I'm going to go show you a piece of code that I have on Team Hero Coder, and you would be right to say that it's a complete mess. Oh, here, the one that I just opened. A bunch of static classes with all my text content or all of my design content in one God file. This is not clean code, right? This is not clean code. All of my battle action IDs in one, and notice constants, not enums, because serialization. Right? This is not clean code. Like, this is a God file. This is horrible, but it's fine because it's not actually a code file. It's a content file, right? And it just so happens that when I'm working with the designer, I'll take this one file and I'll hand it to them through Discord or whatever, and then they'll open it and they'll have access to all the stats and collapsible code, and this is great. It's worked great, but I didn't apply, single responsibility, or like just don't have a God file, or favor inheritance over long if else's. Like, that's not what's going on here, right? Like, I could have favored inheritance. Well, maybe that's a bad example. But I didn't, because it's a content file. So there's times where you don't need it, right? And I see, we'll say, like, mid-level coders will or people approaching an advanced level of code, that's where they screw up. They clean up code that they don't need to. But just to be clear, for you folks coming out of GBC, I rarely see clean code. I rarely see code that's like, okay, this is going to work 3 months from now, when the person has to come back, read it, and iterate. It's a very, like, you hand in your assignment, you move on to the next thing. If I may, I think a better way to have you answer that question yourself is go look at some code that you wrote last year. Could you come back and iterate on it readily? What makes it easy? What makes it hard? And then if you did that with a friend, where you looked at a friend's code from last year on a project that you did yourself, could you go and iterate on their code? What are the things that made it easy to do so? What are the things that made it hard? But yeah, no, the question of, like, when to clean up code and when not to, it's a big thing, right? And you know, you see like people who are approaching, I'd say, the advanced level, and all they do is clean up their code, and everything is ridiculously clean, right? Um, you know, and then yeah, and then there's kind of this like you teeter off where it's like, well, I don't actually need to clean up that code base, it's fine, right? And by the way, I've been wrong. There's been times where it's like I said that, or I said that I'd do it later, and then I didn't, and then I eventually had to spend a week refactoring, right? But yeah, no, I mean, you need to be able to write clean code at the very least. Like you need to have that self overcoming. Okay, does that answer the question in like a very thorough way? Any other question, or does that answer that question? Or is there any other questions?
I feel like you sort of went on a tangent, but it sort of, because like when I want to put it into practice on my assignments, I think it's going to be very difficult because of all the different assignments we have. Like just
Mhm.
this semester, we have your assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Joss is getting us to make another game.
Mhm.
What is it? Philip has a game for Unreal, so that's already
Mhm.
2 games, and that's only 2 classes out of our 5 or 6
Those three
classes.
classes, yeah.
So that's like a lot of time that we got to spend coding already, and like I don't even know where I'm gonna put in like
Yeah.
the clean code refactoring stuff in, because just getting things to work, I know it's gonna take a lot longer than
Yeah. It so with this course, and like I see it specifically, like I see people who use Chat GPT, and it's like they get to like the halfway point, like to the point where they're building like a login feature, and their lack of comprehension. Chat GPT, like you might think it spits out clean code, but it actually doesn't. It doesn't, because it's always including little features you don't need. I don't want to open it because I'm sharing a screen, but I could share an assignment submission that I got recently. It's clearly ChatGPT, and the person has a feature in their code to support an array of different separator characters, right? So their code, it works with the separator character, but not just with a comma, but also with like a bracket, a pipe, a this, a that, like 4 other things. It's like, ooh, feature you don't need, right? Um, and the lack of comprehension they have, you know, really bites them in the butt. But then there's also, if you're not cleaning up your code, you lose comprehension of it. And then once you get to a certain point, it's like your code base is a complete mess, and it takes a lot longer to get right. It takes a lot longer to get right. And you start producing bugs, and you'll see this probably towards the end of the tic-tac-toe. And even if you have relatively clean code, it's like still going to get hairy. Still going to get hairy, right? And again, like I have to say, like you actually, I think, identified the issue with the way that we're teaching you in school, which just completely de-emphasizes the need to do anything about technical debt, which is like, yeah, we have you doing like 5 different small games every semester, right? If you're doing 5 different small games every semester, I mean, to be honest, ChatGPT is the best way to do that, right? Um, you know, with maybe a bit of an exception on this one because there is a lot of coding, right? That this specific course has. But yeah, does that answer the question, or is there any other questions?
I think you went on another tangent, but that's fine.
What's the question that you?
I'll ask this one more time.
Yeah.
It's fine if you go on off another tangent because I feel like I'm learning things anyways.
Mhm.
It's more of a, when do you choose to go in and refactor? Like,
Yeah.
say this example where I'm
Yeah.
making a save and load system.
Yeah.
I have it done. It's working.
Mhm.
Should I do something else? Should I refactor it now? If something I need done needs to be done within like
Right
3
now,
days, do I attack that first and then come back
I
and
mean,
refactor this? Like that's sort of
yeah.
what I'm
Yeah,
trying.
so I mean, I can't answer for your scheduling, but I will say that for like, just to be clear here, like I opened the question, how can we clean up this code? And I largely got crickets, right?
Mhm. I don't know
If
how
you
to clean
don't,
up code because we we didn't really practice that.
You need
other two
to
years.
know how to. You need to know how to.
Yeah.
Because past the 3-month mark, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you huge in time. And maybe even cripple you, I would go as far as to say. I mean, I actually
absolutely
see that
true.
quite regular. Sorry, what's that?
That's absolutely true. I like
Yeah.
my C graphics project is such a fucking nightmare right now. I'm on the 3rd rewrite of it because I incurred
Yeah.
so much technical debt writing it in C++.
Yeah.
And being
Yeah.
like fast
No-
release with objects.
And congratulations, by the way, Ethan. That's a huge accomplishment, right? And there's debate that I have with other educators where it's like, can you actually teach clean code, or does the person need to stumble into a context where they get 3 months into a project and they can't make progress?
I think
They can't make progress, right? You write one feature, you break 3 others, and you actually already had 5 bugs that you didn't know about,
I think it
right?
really depends on the person. Like I'm the kind of person
that-
that is like wired to, okay, there's a problem, I'm going to fix it right now. But somebody who isn't as confident in their skills, or like as what's the word? Something like hubris. I don't know. Like I'm overly confident in my own ability, and then I fall face first into problems.
Mhm.
But like somebody who might not have the same like mindset, or might be learning a different way, having
Mhm.
those things missing might just make them like not. yeah, James, you know that
Yeah, an
like
Icarus
well and
moment.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we need to
Yeah.
like that's a fundamental teaching thing where we need to teach people to be curious and to fail, and to fail
Yeah.
hard and learn from it.
Yeah, no, and I would argue that the hardest part of becoming a clean coder is hitting that point where it's like you have all of this code, but now you can't progress with it, and you need to clean it up. You need to refactor it, right? Like, that's a very like it's a pain that you kind of need to run into, because then you do hit this like, oh shit, like, I mean, it is crippling. It's crippling, right? If you don't keep your code base clean, eventually you will become crippled. But we very much do not let you fail in school, because you're moved on to the next context, the next context, the next context, right? And I have to say, like, I've seen students, and I'm convinced that this is actually a major, like, I see students, they leave George Brown College and they'll keep taking courses on like LinkedIn or something like that. And I think it's because they have tried to take a project past the 3-month mark, and they're terrified. They're terrified. It's this entire challenge that they're not prepared for. And it's a very hard challenge. Like, just to be clear, I feel like coding the thing is easy. Picking up a framework tool is easy. Finishing a project, managing technical debt, very tricky. Architecting your code well, very tricky. Very, very tricky, right? So I do encourage you to try to, like, specifically with the code that you're going to be writing here with this course, you will benefit tremendously if you keep your code clean. Yeah, oh, and so somebody wrote something here. Went to a playtesting event and met someone who worked at Unity. He was telling me about assembly definition files, kind of force developers to modularize their code. Yeah, no, so James, you bring up another good point. So like one of the things that's like, okay, you see how we decouple deserializing and serializing, right? So the act of like getting our data collected into a linked list of strings is its own function. We're not doing shit with the hard drive here, right? Now, let's say I didn't want to save to the hard drive. Let's say I want to serialize the characters I have on screen, and I want to send it across the network. Well, then we would need this abstraction, right? And I think that's what, James, that's comparable to what you're getting at with your friend that worked at Unity, where it's like, yeah, when you want to support another feature, you actually do need to abstract, right? And there should be there's something to be said for like Yagni, you ain't gonna need it, where like don't write the abstraction until you need it. I think that there's a wisdom in that, because I see people, they'll produce abstractions which they don't need. And again, I think that that's like the lower level of advanced coder. You're producing abstractions you won't need. But you know how to produce those abstractions, and it does help to keep your code base clean. So hey, who am I to judge? And I'm not trying to. I just want to riff off what you're saying there about the need for abstraction as you add features, right? Like if we were getting data from not from the hard drive, right? Like here we're reading data from the hard drive and then we're passing it to our deserialize function, right? But what if we were getting that data from the network? Well, deserialize functions right there, it would work fine. Just call it, right? So I mean, yeah, and sometimes like good clean code principles like single responsibility will just line you up so you have your abstractions already made. Okay. Any other questions or concerns or anything else? Yeah. I think we're good. Like I said, I think variable names is the last thing we could attack cleaning up, but we don't need to do that.
Fernando.
Yeah.
For the commented stuff at the bottom, like the what is it?
Oh, this?
Do not repeat yourself. Yeah, stuff like that. Can you either post it somewhere or something? Because I think that's sort of the baseline
yeah.
to clean code, right? I want somewhere I could like.
Yeah.
look at
Have you
what
seen
I'm
the
coding.
So I'm gonna throw this here because we made some good notes here. Like our notes were weak when we started, but then our notes became very good. Like with the ones we got here, I think we named some good ones. Second here. Probably shouldn't be showing that. The clean code assignment. The clean code assignment. Think about clean code, this one right here. Right? This will like supercharge. Like this is the answer to what you're saying. Like if you think like the notes that I provided you with are, I mean, the notes that we provided here, I mean, like, look here, like, you know, separate serialization right into the HD. Like that's a thing that like is on here as well. And we covered a lot here, right? You know, name your variables well. But check this out. These thinkers will blow your mind. Right. And the last thing that I say on here is it on here? Yeah, Robert C. Martin, Clean Code Cheat Sheet. And just take a look at what you see here. Tons to chew on. Yeah. Oh, there you go. James mentioned. Yeah. Wait, what? Where's the? Anyways, yeah. You know, like comment rules. Don't try to explain yourself in code. Don't be redundant. Don't add obvious noise. Don't use closing brace comments. I don't know what those are. Don't comment out code, just remove. Yeah, I mean, fucking guilty. Use as explanation of intent.
Oh, is
Use
closing
as
brace
clarification.
comments, is that like multi-line comments where you do like the slash star and then block and
know.
then star slash? I don't know.
I don't know. What's we go?
Oh.
I see
I see
I
what
don't
you
know. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, whatever, right? So yeah, no, but this is like, look, what I'm getting at is like, I'm not the source of truth on how to write clean code. In fact, it's important that you remain that way. Because sometimes advice, which is good, like I showed you earlier, some of my code, like my content file, and it's comparable to like Toby Fox, right? Toby Fox supposedly has a long if else if, you know, for his dialogue. But like, yo, seriously, like don't criticize that. That actually is a very good that can be a very good way to structure, because it's just a content file and it's not like A star logic, it's not like your netcode logic, it's like a content file. So, you know, I mean, it's like, did you really need to criticize like that for not being super clean code? It's like the answer is no. And you know, I think an advanced coder would know that. You know, it's kind of like using a singleton, right? The noob is all like, yo, let's use a singleton to solve the problem. Then you have your medium level coder and they're like, oh, we can like, you know, polymorphism or like set up a delegate and, you know, a pub sub observer architecture. And it's like, yeah, Yeah, you could, but you're not supporting unit tests and you're not doing any of these other things that normally that you would need to support that architectural solution for. So then you have the advanced coder that's like, oh, Satan is great, right? Like there's kind of an arc. Um, but the point is, I think to be able to know how to do those things when you need them, right? Um, because you will need them. But yeah, like like separate concepts vertically. Related code should appear vertically dense. Declare variables close to their usage. Like, oh my God, the amount of good shit there is to read. It's right. But I think we touched on a very useful list. And what you see here is very useful. This is very nice, I think. Here, I'm just gonna save. I saved it, so I'm just gonna take this and can I just drop it here? Oh, there you go. That's your homework. But yeah. And again, like the techniques that we covered here in the streaming data lab, absolutely essential for when you're moving data across the network. Like the hard drive, saving and loading to the hard drive is just the easy mode for net coding. Okay, holy shit. Should we take a break and then Adrian, did you just submit it? Because I marked and gave tons of feedback like 2 or 3 days ago. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a break. I'm actually really hungry. And oh, fam, did you know last class I wrecked my throat?
You said a thing in the was it on the
Yeah,
Discord or anything?
no, like I wake up the next, like, I mean, first of all, I was hoarse. Like I was trying to talk and I went to a class afterwards, sitting in a data-driven marketing class. And oh my God. And I like tried to answer questions and it was like horrible. And then and then I get home and it's like, oh, this is bad. And I start searching and like, yeah, no, it's like, okay, no, like go see a doctor if it doesn't change in 3 days. Thankfully, it did, but it was like on the third day that it got better. And I spent 2 days saying nothing, like avoiding. Anyways, what I'm getting at is I should take a break, get some yum yum. Um, I wanted to, I mean, we spent longer on this than I had anticipated, which seems to be a reoccurring theme of my lesson plans. But we did cover some really good shit. So the next thing to do is procedural dungeon generation. Okay. The lab one, you have accepted my invitations. Yeah, did you just like add me like a day or two ago? Because I mean, I don't check homework every day. Normally I try to do marking every 2 or 3 days. And I got delayed the first time. So maybe just give me a second. Um, yeah, I mean, was it just a couple days ago that I missed you that you submitted? Right. Okay. Um, okay. Anyways, so for the procedural dungeon generation preparations, let's get going on this because this is what I want to go with this with our time together. I mean, we can definitely focus on like if anybody is like, oh, I was having trouble with this part of the course. But really like during our class time, like just want to follow the creativity. Um, oh, sorry. So if you submit it a day before the deadline, it should already be marked. I marked everything. I had everything marked, my inbox clear 2 or 3 days ago. 2 or 3 days ago, I had my inbox clear for marking. So
Do
it's
you wanna
just stuff.
take a break before we jump into procedural generation? Because
Yeah, no, we do. We absolutely need to take a break. I need to get a bite to eat. So I want to do that. What I would like to do next is procedural generation, but it's not procedural generation itself. There's two things that we need. I mean, how do we tackle procedural generation? If we want to do procedural generation, what should we first do?
Probably come up with A star or like solve A
Okay.
star.
That's I would yeah, I mean that's a great answer. That's not what we're gonna do. 'Cause A star's actually a little bit trickier than procedural gen IMO.
I think it's like the
Arguable.
same thing.
Highly comparable. Yeah. So, but you have the right direction of idea. What's even simpler than A star? I mean, even if we're gonna do A star, what would we need?
Some sort
Ordering
of
and
like,
sorting?
I guess like some kind of like tree structures, some sort of structure to like store the like level data.
Yeah, we need a structure to store our data and to test it and to represent it and to like be able to see what we're doing on screen.
Hmm.
Okay, so we need sort of a flight tunnel,
Oh,
right? Or
right, I remember
wind
that.
tunnel,
Yeah.
right? We need a wind tunnel, something that we can use to test our wing, right?
Mhm.
We need something that we can use to test our hypotheses, our solution. Right? So what would a wind tunnel for procedural dungeon generation, or A star for that matter, what would that have? What do we need for that? Okay, so we're gonna take a break. I want to leave you with that question. Yeah. And maybe are people running out after 1 second, I'm gonna stop sharing. Are people needing to run right when class ends, or
Fine.
yeah,
Fine
are we
with this,
chilling?
I think some
let
people
me
might, but I'm
check
cool
my
to just stay all
email.
day.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, okay. No, I mean, you know what? Maybe we'll take it slow. I mean, we covered a big chunk today. We covered a good chunk of stuff. Like I don't know. I always go a little ambitious for what I bring to class. And just to be clear, that's by design because like the last thing I want is for us to be like, "Oh, what do we do now?" Right? And I also like the idea of like, let's say you guys were like, "Oh, actually we don't really care about the streaming data lab and we mostly all got it and the feedback was great, so we iterate whatever. uh we don't want to do that, though I didn't see that coming. um but like let's say you want to veto something that I had planned. It's like you can do that. Totally welcome to just say like, yeah, no, like let's do something else. So I always bring extra to class is what I'm saying. And that often lands us in spots where like we have today where we have like 2 hours of class left, and it's like, well, I mean, I think we can get a good attack into wind tunnel, our wind tunnel for procedural dungeon generation. What is it we need to test to develop a solution for procedural dungeon generation? What's the groundwork that we can lay? And that's all I want to tackle today. I want to tackle procedural dungeon generation today. I just want us to tackle making shit easy for the next class when we do tackle procedural dungeon generation. We need a way to tackle it. So okay, I'm ranting. But yeah, let's call it. Let's call it, I mean, for lunch. I'm quite hungry. So how about we give ourselves let's try and be back for 2. Does that sound like a good time?
I'll be here. I don't know about
Awesome.
everyone else.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's aim to be back by 2.